Red candles off the gate, out of the gate. We'll see what they want to do here. We have 25,437, of course. We have way high prices. We have the VIX is getting pummeled down to 1644. The VIX deflation is complete. They are now down to pre-Trump tweet tariff day Friday levels as we get rocked. Main amount of liquidity here is up to 25,525. Although I'm sure shenanigans will abound. NASDAQ is open down into the 400s so far. Let me get the YouTube started. I already did. Sweet. Good morning. Good morning. Apparently I have audio issues because no one can hear me. Let's see. Dashboard. The trace indicator ain't working either. Oh, there we go. All right, so the main exposure here is right at 6,800 on SPX. That is the main line for the S&P. And that's also with spot gamma here. So still dropping over 25,441 and moving over here. 50% of the range is roughly, what, right about there. But that's pretty much about it. We have the prior all-time highs is way lower so far. Gold is rocket ships back up to 4130. Oil's down. ES and NASDAQ are both hanging up here, obviously. And we're just going to chill and wait till 9:45. I would expect some pretty robust price action this morning as they're open up deep in the money calls after a couple of days of just launch pad action. We are now up, 700 points since Wednesday's lows on NASDAQ? It's crazy. I've not heard you on Discord for 2 days. Yeah, that's I mean, some people do, some people don't. Discord's terrible. Still nothing. It's not us, it's you. No. Google Cloud, baby. 25,471 on NASDAQ, bottom wick, heading back up to 525. How was your chili? It was fantastic. Fantastic. If I had to make it again, though, I would use less adobo chilies. I think I put too many adobo chilies in there. Overpowered the flavor, but it was still very good. A little tweaking, and I think it could be dynamite. Looking across the market here, we obviously have a very bright green market. The only thing that's red is Tesla. Every single S&P name is green and bright green. We have Nvidia's up 1.5. We have Google's up 1.3. XLF, the banks are up 0.78% as the clown show continues, baby. I don't know. Do you want me to restart? Here, I'll just restart. This is driving me nuts. This is going to be a huge distraction. No live stream today. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, here we go. Try it again. All right, we good to go? We good? We ready to get down to business here? VIX is getting crushed down to 1634. We have the liquidity up to the top where they just moved down from 525 to 500, and they just ate it up. And still going. It's beautiful stuff. Play the 3 C's. What's up, Hassan? How you doing? John, how you doing? I'd expect some decent movement this morning. Like I said, CPI and these other data postings are all known for shenanigans. They are absolutely piling into calls right now. There's zero call selling. In fact, 500 million of zero DTE call buying. So just be aware of that. When disbelief turns into acceptance, then and only then will the market finally fall. I don't think we're there yet, although this is pretty amazing. I think another 1,000 points or 2,000 points on NASDAQ should put a lot of people into disbelief, and then will it go down. We'll see, though, man. CPIs and NFPs, they're known for doing a lot of crazy shaking and baking. I would have loved to at least see the CPI low taken out, 345, and then go about. That's a pretty common area. Next week, we have a plethora of news postings. We have a whole bunch of economic data. We have earnings data. We have FOMC. So a whole bunch going on next week. Whole bunch. If I'd recommend you hang out next week. It's going to be around. But the VIX continues to get crushed. Volatility has now gone from 28 to 16. The biggest crush on the VIX in history. And that even takes out, or the biggest and fastest crush on the VIX. And that even takes out what happened back in April. Because April, although it was a very precipitous drop, it did it over the course of a week or so because there's a lot of green here. They have crushed from almost 30 down to 16 in record speed. And I would probably attribute that to zeros. So what does the VIX going up or down indicate? So the VIX is the long-dated metric to measure options data between the 28 and 33-day time frame. So they call it the fear index because when dealers are supposedly fearful, they'll hedge their portfolios. That's why they call it that. So it's a hedging mechanism on which you measure the put flow, the options flow on 28 to 33 days out on the S&P. So if you see a gigantic spike in the VIX, that you know that there's protections coming on the market. That builds IV, it builds volatility. I really just think about putting one ES long and checking in with you guys in a few weeks. Heck yeah. Let me take a look at the market. Oh, clown show continues. Yeah. What is the best way to learn how to read Hero? Ask questions until I put together a good summary of something that I recommend myself. Then I would just say ask questions. Right now, it's just a really good metric on which to gauge options flow. Green line is 0 DTE calls. Blue line is 0 DTE puts. When green goes up, it's buying. When green goes down, it's selling. Calls. All right, so already right there, we have a 100-point bounce on NASDAQ up to 530 for a new all-time high again. It doesn't replace the 3 C's. That's right. Yep, nothing replaces the 3 C's. 3 C's first, everything else second. It's beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Still going, 530. Rocket ships. Fed came out and said that they are going to print $1.5 trillion in the next 2-3 months. An additional $1.5 trillion of liquidity into the market next month and a half. Literally, they posted. I'm not exaggerating. So they've also said they're going to stop tightening and start easing here in the next month or so. So what happens? What happens when all that happens? The $7.5 trillion on the sidelines in money market accounts, what happens when that rotates into the stock market? What happens when $1.5 trillion is inflated into the market? It's a clown show. We haven't even rallied yet. This isn't even bullish. This isn't even bullish. This action we've seen the past 5 years is incredibly bearish. Like, we haven't even hit bullish yet. Just wait. Just wait. We'll be trading NASDAQ at 45,000 here in about a year. The year is 2026. I just long NASDAQ at 72,000. The S&P is at 17.9. It's crazy. We are definitely in an everything bubble. What happened to the Dow at 8:30? CPI data posted. CPI data. It was the first CPI data we've had in a while. Look, I'm not even joking too. Look. This isn't bullish. We won't be able to afford NASDAQ, but or grocery, but NASDAQ will be at 45,000. Yeah. The good news is that interest rates are starting to fall. The 30-year mortgage rate has fallen to the lowest rate in months. Yields are continuing to plummet. The Treasury is scrambling to buy back their own treasuries because there's no liquidity in the bond market, which is also always a great sign, right? 25,530. All I'm doing here is doing a lot of yapping and waiting for my 9:45 time frame, and I'm waiting for a good 3C opportunity. Gold here is starting to trickle lower after a top wick at 41.37, and they've blasted even higher. No president wants to be in charge when the market collapses. They love to play hot potato with it. I think you're exactly right, Nacho. Or Zacto. Top wicks. Coming back over. Hey. It ain't over till it's over. 25,505. Do we have a high volume 3C indication? I don't think so. Not yet. We're hovering down here at 500. Still bottom wicking. No sell pressure whatsoever, not since 2018. Isn't this a soft version of quantitative easing? It depends from what perspective you're looking at. Because even when they were tightening, they were easing. They were just telling us they were tightening. So the assets were still being accumulated at an alarming rate, even throughout the tightening process. So it literally is a bunch of nonsense. It's all nonsense. It all depends on which lens you're looking at it through. If you look at the balance sheet for the Fed, they were adding assets the entire time they were supposed to be tightening. The Fed doesn't print money, it creates credit. There you go. So this data release was delayed because the government shut down, but the government still is shut down, so how did it come out? Trump mandated the data be released. Which, kind of what we said last night is that we knew what was going to happen here with Trump's going to mandate the data be released. Milk will be $10 a gallon. Hey, in some places it already is $10 a gallon. If you're going with organic milk, organic cow juice. All right, so we're bouncing back up here. We've had one single red candle. No 3Cs, though. We had a decent volume spike here at 9:35. We are 3 minutes away from my trading time. We have major data here in 2 minutes, and again at the top of the hour. Not as major as CPI, but still three-star events. TLT weekly charts talking to me. Heck yeah, baby. Keep on tranching into TLT. Still going. 25,515. SPY has already hit its expected move on the way up, but means volume here might be key at the moment. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for, is a good amount of volume here to get us going on a good follow-through play. Although the market this week, the theme has been, the first 15, 20 minutes do something nutty and then just pin flat for the rest of the session. So hopefully that does not happen today. I hope we have a nice outlier move from here so I can take advantage. We'll see. 25,505. Nothing nutty yet. 501. Still coming down. Just trade gold. It's a gift that keeps on gifting. Yeah, buddy. In Alaska, yeah. She'll want calls all the way. Yep. $8 for raw A2. What's up, noob? They were just tightening. They were easing less. Yeah. Except the last president of all time. It's crazy times we're living in, man. I have no idea where to go from here. Yeah, definitely, John. Definitely. So far, nothing crazy. We have liquidity coming back down to 25,400. We have data here in about 15 seconds. It's a 3-star event, so just be aware. Be advised, we have missiles inbound, 15 seconds. Here we go. Big green. All the way up, new all-time high again. Let's see what they're going to do with this. $25,516. Launching. We rejected this new all-time high area a couple of times. I'm looking for any kind of volume spike. Do we get a volume spike clearing into 530 and then maybe we can attack that level down to 400 or so? That'd be nice. So far, we are experiencing a minor high volume top wick. It's got to close though. I want a good opportunity. I want to be smart. I want to be smart. Good opportunities. So far, all we're getting is a bunch of 5-minute dojis, and it's disgusting. 25,512. They're just expanding and collapsing the candle over and over again, attesting that 530. We're flagging dead sideways here, both on the 1 and the 5-minute charts. Gold's trickling lower, ever so gently. ES is plowing higher, 68.33. We have a little liquidity to 550 and a little bit down to 400, so a wide spread. We have 700 million in call buying, 79 million in put selling. It's crazy, crazy. Another top wick on NASDAQ. ES is a little bit more bullish here than NASDAQ on the current setup. We'll see if that can change. Another sweeping top wick on NASDAQ. Just chilling. Lots of draws lower. Yep. Another sweeping red candle. On down. On down. On down. There you go. There's that 3C. Many men was death upon me. Top wicking back over. Let's see how they want to do this. Can't help but notice the extreme supply of like buttons. What's up, Side Gig Goo? Appreciate you. Distribution? Yeah. All right, here's a beautiful 3C move finally on the 1 minute. On the 5 minute, we're below the 495 trigger right here. This is why I like expected moves sometimes. It gives me the warning to be cautious when certain tickers are going over what it's supposed to do. Yeah, because you're talking about mean reversion there. The market blows through expected moves based on whatever positioning you have, options data, and then it mean reverts. It's a beautiful thing to look for. As other people are chasing the move, you play the mean reversion, which hopefully we get that here down to 400 liquidity, which would be great. Here's a nice little top wick, high volume 3C top wick over the under the 425 or the 525, and then down we go. And then down we go. The odds of rate cuts are increasing after today's data. This year. Still red candles, high volume. $480. We have a little bit of call selling, but still no activity in the puts. We have data in 10 minutes. We have a nice sweeping top wick here, down to 480. Multiple top wicks on the 1, under the lows of about 500, and then down we go on the 1 minute. There we go. More red candles. 3 C's, baby. The 3 C's. I love it. All the way down, 468. 465. Can they grab the 400? I would love to see them wipe out the entirety of the CPI candle. That would give us a fantastic flow. A pyroclastic flow. I'm interested in a gang sign for the 3 C's. 3 crosses. How about that? 3 crosses. Cavalry, baby. 470 down to 425 and 400 would be the target. The day's lows of 430 would be beautiful. Like I said, I'd love to see the CPI low being taken out at 345 just to get things cooking. Just to get things cooking. Then after that, they can do whatever they want. It's Friday, baby. I'm ready to start the weekend. Y'all see the weather this weekend? It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Fall is finally here. 71 degrees, cloudy, partly cloudy skies, little sun. It's beautiful. Although we're supposed to get rain on Sunday. It's no bueno. You had rain all week, 60s. Nice. Beautiful. Did I take a position? I did. I did. Did I get my pumpkin spice latte yet? Nah. No. Although we did get some pumpkin creamer for the wife's morning coffee, but I don't usually partake in a lot of pumpkin stuff. Not a big pumpkin guy. I'll eat it. It's good, but I'm not a big pumpkin guy. Although Andy's pumpkin spice, the pumpkin concrete is pretty delicious. If you have an Andy's ice cream near you, yeah, it's delicious. Didn't Starbucks get caught putting ammonia in their pumpkin spice latte? I don't know. Probably. I can't tell you the last time I've been into communist bucks. Ammonia and arsenic are keys to the balanced breakfast. If you're not sprinkling ammonia on your eggs in the morning, like what are you even doing? What are you even doing? I like the pumpkin spice stuff. I'm more of an eggnog guy. Still just chilling. I can handle about 1 glass of eggnog a year. Yeah, I don't do much of it, but usually we'll get 1 carton sometime in December and drink it, and that'll be that. But yeah, it's like 9,000 calories a glass. It's terrible. Are there other nogs beside eggnog? I don't know. Can't say I've ever had another nog beside eggnog. February is nice and curdled. These nogs. They have candy frappuccino at Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin's coffee's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. All right, still heading lower here. VIX is 1645. Right here. Where's my stop? Right now it's 505. If they take out the new lows, I'll shift it lower again. As a New England ear, shut your mouth. Why, do you like Dunkin' Donuts up there? What's up, Will? How you doing? We have call selling, put buying, very weak, but it's there. We have data in 5 minutes. 3-star event data, 5 minutes. Right here. Once I stop adding sugar to the stuff, my coffee really Dunkin's bad. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. I can't even tell you the last time I've bought coffee. It's all been homemade. She knows coffee. Love it, Ben. I love it. I'm a Texas boy. I drink Texas pecan, nothing else. Nice. Like it. We have 500 liquidity. We have down to 462, 525, 400. VIX is back up to 1645. We have just pretty tight price action. We had a decent little 3C setup here, but there's not much follow through. It's just kind of do it. Now, they are still selling a lot of calls. They're buying back a couple of puts, but there's nothing egregious here. We're just hanging out just under 500, just under the trigger. 490. I got an espresso machine. We do it all ourselves. Heck yeah. What is it with 25,472? That's just where they like to bounce it, man. That's been there all night. Back and forth. Back and forth. We've got liquidity to 500. They're still selling off calls and buying some puts. But market's putting on another bounce. We have data in 3 minutes. Morgan Stanley says the S&P can drop 11% on trade war. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Sweet tea and water. Heck yeah. Here's a fancy coffee machine. I've had a fancy coffee machine for a couple of years. We sold it and got just a basic old French press. Nothing beats a good old French press coffee with some high quality grounds. That's it. Even though I'm not really a big coffee guy anyway. I have 1 cup a day and that's it. Mike made me get Twitter yesterday. What are your top 3 accounts? I'll put together a list. We do that when we get camping. Black coffee. Yeah. Yep. What was yesterday's announcement? It was about the cartel stuff. The cartel strikes down in the Gulf. Simple as better. Pour over. Nice. I do just a splash of creamer, of some cream in it, and then just like a dash of sweetener, just to take the bite out, but nothing much. I keep it very simple. I don't like ice cream coffee. SPX at 6,800 and 6,810 is a big call wall. That's correct, yes. So there's a tremendous amount of exposure up here on the S&P. If you look here on Trace, I mean, it's all right here. So tremendous amount of exposure here. It's one of the reasons I was looking to short off these top wicks. Just a little defense. One, very common for the CPI to fill back down, especially after such an outlier move 3 days in a row of just monster moves. And then we have this ton of call exposure here, 6,800 they're going to defend, at least the first time. Texas is Tom Brady of states. Sure, it's great, but the hype makes it so easily habitable. Yeah. I spent a lot of time in Texas. A lot of time in Texas. Not what I expected. Is there a way to spot gamma just look at old graphics? Yeah, you could do replay on spot gamma. How far below the ask do you usually bid when you take a position? Well, when I am ready to execute a position based on the 3Cs, I just get in. I'll set the limit. I'll trail it till I get in within a certain limit. As long as it's within the bounds of my, I guess, what I'm looking to feel comfortable, I'll get in. Usually it's within a couple of points. still think ups today, but VIX has a lot of OI at 20. Yeah, so we have this data here in 30, oh, now. So no response on that. They're still piling into more liquidity at 400. How is their hero with TradingView in the background now? I haven't done it since I first did a couple of days ago. I'll have to tinker with it off stream because right now it's pretty terrible. They better clean that stuff up. I used to drink 10 coffees a day. Now I have one and a couple of teas. Nice, agnostic. Nice. Was there news or anything? Yeah, at 8:30 we had CPI news, which came out cold. So the news came out cold. It was forecasting at 3.1%. It was at 3%. However, it is still uptick since last posting. CPI is hotter than it was the last posting. It was just beat the expectations. So take that for what it is. We either blast up for a sweep or just going to keep going. Yeah. I'm legitimately concerned for what's going to happen in the future. I mean, I don't know I legitimately don't know what to do with this going forward. Like, I get bullishness, I get it. You know, we were bullish for a very long time, but like, at what point does this stop? You know, how many years does this go on until it stops? It's pretty insane. There's bullish and there's broken. Exactly. I mean, trust me. You know, my entire career was in a bull market. My entire career, I traded a bull market, with the exception of 2018. 2018 was a little boring and had a lot of down months, but this is absurd. This is absurd. And it's not just the stock market. You know, we talk about that stuff all the time. It's everything. Everything is doing what the stock market is doing in terms of price. Everything, from the good stuff to the bad stuff. Except wages, yeah. How did that call go yesterday? Was there anything useful? And if so, yeah, there's a replay. I'm going to post it on YouTube probably today. If not today, it'll be tomorrow. It was great. It's fantastic. You know, he went over. Brent came on, and he's the Wall Street guy for the options analytics for Spot Gamma. He came on and went over his new products that they're releasing. A lot of the stuff they're doing their promo. They have a free seminar coming up that's going to be open to the OM community. And yes, there will be discounts exclusive to the OM community. But yeah, it was really good. It was really good. You know, he's got a lot of great insight. The main two things they're releasing is their own option strat tool to be able to do calculation on profits or loss based on options data, and also a IV tracker for any name you want, whether it be indexes or stocks, and it'll track not only the current IV but the trend of the IV given the environment for an individual name. So you could plot that. Looking back in 5 years, the period will look like the slow ramp into hyperinflation. That guy's an options fund. It is. You know, I try to have conversations with the guy, but he's way too smart for me. I feel like Sloth from the Goonies when I try to have a conversation with him. He's like, so do you understand blah, 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 blah? And I'm like, chocolate. That's just the way it is. The guy's super smart. The guy's super smart. All right, hey, new highs, 522, Blastaroni with cheese, baby. Oh, almost new highs. Coming back up. 588. They're back to selling an egregious amount of puts because there's no puts on the books. When there's no puts on the books, you have to sell those that are not on the books. And then there's calls being bought all the way back up. 640 today? It could happen. It could happen. Yeah, that's right, Chirpy Mike. I love it. I'm not going to touch nothing unless I see a high volume 3C indication. I am not going to ruin my week with a bad Friday. I'm going to be very careful. I've taken one trade today. And I'm not going to take another one unless I feel comfortable. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Let's go take a look at the S&P. 68.31.32 right here is the big dog liquidity for the S&P. What about gold? What's gold doing? Gold hasn't moved an inch since the lows. They did have a high volume 3C stoppage. I wouldn't really call that a bounce yet, although technically it is. Just more of a stoppage. So that volume kind of arrested the descent. Oil is still going up nicely. Big blasteroni. RTY just put on a top wick without volume. Can I share Tesla bookmap? I can't. I can only do indexes on the streams, unfortunately. We'll get a fine. Oh, hey. New all-time highs. There we go. 550 blasteroni. That was a quick candle. Top wick back over. High volume with a top wick. What's it going to do with this? Project X is off today. What do you mean? What's up, Corona? Can you check out NVIDIA? Yeah, let's take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is, let's see, 185. Let's go to the daily. High volume, 195. I mean, they're obviously well above all-time highs. Their monthly chart doesn't look all that great. The daily chart is underperforming the rest of the market. They haven't really bounced in the way that the indexes have. NASDAQ, NVIDIA is still hanging out at the big Friday dump lows. Interesting. Interesting. But if they get over 184.95, that's the higher high. That's your trigger. To get over Monday, October 20th high, if they take that out, that's possible they can start making a move higher. But NVIDIA is underperforming the market. Interesting. Muy interesante. Did anybody take a CPI strangle late yesterday and bring it into open? Just curious of how well it went. A little bit of red coming off. That's a high volume 3C top wick again. Right here. After high volume with the top wick, would you then look for a red candle close? Well, that's the follow-through aspect. So yes, if I see a high volume indication with a top wick, I'm going to be looking to see if we have any extension through the lower half or the lower close. So, and if we get that, then it's going to be really a game time decision depending on what we're doing here. And the location of that candle will play a huge part in that decision. Now, the hard part about that is that when you're blasting to highs like this, there's not really we don't really have any historical location to look on. So it's trend lines, it's Fibonacci's, it's expected moves, it's options data like the S&P SPX 6800. It's about that stuff, which obviously is not going to be nearly as strong as actual price action. So unfortunately, you can't really rely too much on the location aspect. But in terms of lower lows, yes, I need to see that the market is ready to accept lower lows, especially in a market like this that has been bottom wicking everything for, what, 3-4 days in a row now, is that I need to be able to see that we are going to be able to put in a lower low so you don't short and then get bounced, because that's just no bueno. What's your thoughts on the Tesla chart for the day? Looks pretty bearish. Just undoing a little bit of what happened yesterday. They had a tremendous amount of call buying. In fact, Brent Kochuba with Spot Gamma highlighted this name yesterday because if you saw, as this market was selling off in the morning for Tesla, they were hammering the 0DTE calls, hammering them. And the 0DT call buying spiked aggressively right before the bounce. And then, of course, look what happened. They went from 412 to freaking 450, just nuts. Does IBKR let you do RTY or HYG options outside of RTH? I don't believe so, no. Just SPX. And what else? Top step NQ chart off from TradingView. Let's see. 529. Nope. Mine's on the money. I'm looking at the ticks. I stand by this post. Yona has potential to reach 28.6. 38. There's realized a breather. Interesting. It's this MNQ. Oh, yeah. Still coming down. Quick SPY fact. Most of the times we are 8% above the daily 200 EMA. We're short, correct shortly after. We're now 9% above. Oh, nice, JDM. Yeah, more mean reversion. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Still top wicking with volume into the 540. NASDAQ is not liking the trend line we're up against here, which is that orange line you see on NASDAQ. So far, though, it's just been choppy back and forth action now after that big blast. So far, and we've talked about this before, is that every single month in 2025 has gone against. It's done the exact opposite of seasonality every single month. And of course, everyone was expecting big bearishness for July, September, or July, August, September, October. All been phenomenally green months. So it appears we are definitely in the melt-up phase of the market because this is blasting higher and higher. Feels very bullish. Yep. So the fact that they're not rejecting off of it, just keep on going. There's no sell pressure here. So what's gold doing? Gold's rocket launch. Look at that, 41.46. I want to get when it was bottom wicking at 41.20, but it stalled and didn't want to get wicked out. Well, yeah, they had that the stoppage, the 3C. So you see that volume, and once again, gold continues to put on very clean moves. Gold is way cleaner than NASDAQ lately. Right here, and then up we go. Your higher high would have been right there, and then off to the races, baby. Once you take out the highs, you roll your stop up. Off to the race while NASDAQ is doing this crap. Doing this crap. Curious would you have had your stop on gold. If you're long in this position here, anything below this structure is where you need to place your stop. Now again, you have to anticipate, even if they were to drop back down, that you have to anticipate liquidity sweeps. So a little bit of that move, if they were to do stuff like that. So you always have to account for how much do you want to risk in the event that they sweep the position and then go back up, which is something they frequently do. Are you on another month future for gold? I'm on the front running contract on TradingView. Anybody have any fun plans this weekend? What are you doing? I am spreading wood chips on my fall garden. We're building a new garden. Going to a hockey game? Nice. Nice. A little bit of red still. Watching all these strikes in the Gulf makes me miss work. Those are good times, man. It's a lot of fun. $27 million in puts and 700 million calls. Still grinding. Here's the hourly chart. You see that there hasn't been a single drop on price action since 9 o'clock yesterday morning. Give me that 3C. We'll see. You see a couple of top wicks on the hourly here, and it does appear to be, the topping style of price action. But man, I mean, obviously you got to be very delicate with short positions. I'm just kind of observing here. Hitting submarines must be nice. Only have a piece of metal getting destroyed. Yeah, I've never blown up a submarine, but I've blown up anything else you could think of. Top wick here, 25,524. Might get a sell-off Friday. There we go. Oh my gosh. It's certainly possible, Trader Jay, get everyone all bulled up and then pull the plug on CPI. It's possible, but my thinking is, what is one thing that would keep this market from selling off today? Next week. Next week's volatility. We have a ton of earnings. We have FOMC, which obviously everyone knows FOMC was going to be tremendously volatile. So that would be the only thing that would keep me from looking for a short position today back down. But of course, all that conjecture, if I see a high volume 3C top wick, and I'm going to take it, as long as it's high quality. Saturday morning, I'll be preaching my dad's funeral. He's 93 years old, proud veteran, served his country during the Korean War, faithful servant, 66 years. That's amazing, Pastor. What a beautiful life, 93 years old. Awesome stuff. I'm sorry to hear that, but also, he's standing in the kingdom of God now, so it's fantastic stuff. A lady friend I used to date is visiting. A lady friend, nice. Used to date from California. I'm going to try to meet up with her. I'm going to pet my dogs. Is she going to pet your dog? NASDAQ on bearish engulfing 5-minute. Getting there. We have the 3 C's. It looks like they want to have a little retracement. That's for sure. What's your opinion on the government buying in different private companies? You should probably know that. You should probably take a guess of how I feel about that. I think the government should not be. I mean, I think the government should be eviscerated by 95%. I think 95% of the government should be highlighted and deleted instantaneously. So of course I don't think they should have any kind of hand in private business. He probably thinks it's a great idea. Yeah. All right, there we go. A little bit of weakness starting to come along here. There's all those top wicks on the 60-minute, but can it hold it? Can it hold it? This will be your first indication of an executable 3C. If we can get something going. Let's see what we can do. She's kind of annoying. I could send her in durations. Oh my gosh. White House says that Trump and China's president are great friends. There you go. I feel like if you have to announce that, it's not true. Yeah, probably. As long as you're good friends, I'm okay with not affording groceries. Move like it was nothing. Does anyone really believe anything that comes out of that office? I don't think anyone really truly believes a single word that comes out of that office. It's crazy. It's crazy. All you can do is laugh at this point. The best friendship I've seen in years, yeah. You ever seen the movie Backcountry? Trippy Mike? A little bit of red here. Still executable. Yeah, you should watch it. It's crazy. So we have a 3C indication. Lower low, it's 520. Beautiful high volume. Beautiful top wick. Now we're finally getting some extension. They are selling the crap out of some calls. Adding it to the list, do it. Watch it with your lady friend while you're camping. Yeah. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but go watch it. Voting for Trump was a disappointment. You can't say that, though. What are your options? A cackling monstrosity or Trump? Like, you know, there's no, you don't have any good options. $25,507. At least with Trump, we can make some money on the stock market. They could do crazy stuff in the stock market. Biden's market was boring. Qs are up 54% from April lows. Didn't we make bank in Biden's market? We did, but the fun stuff, we're getting the same action plus all the crazy stuff, the back and forth craziness. Hit my goal in green for the week, lock in my account, not trading until Monday. Beautiful options, noob. Lock it in, Betty. You've earned your freedom for the weekend. Ain't nothing better than locking in green on a Friday. $25,506, still coming off. My ICs are pretty fun during Biden. Heck yeah, man. So as long as we remain under 520, everything is fine. Once they take out the next pivot, I would probably say roughly right here at 492. That's when they're going to start triggering the next target. So 492 is your first obstacle to get under. And then after that, we're going to have 466. Lost the, oh my gosh. And you lost the conversation, John. You got to bring out the brainwashed party word, fascist. We're a bunch of fascists. Are you going to call me a Nazi again too? Jabroni. Yeah, YouTube chat. Yeah. And that's why we don't have political conversations. Can't have a conversation without idiotic insults that CNN tells you to say. Still coming off here. Red candles, 498. Now we're looking for 467 or so. But first we have to get through the 494 pivot. If you see what I'm talking about here, it's just a minor pivot, but it's still there. And all that tells me is that with this SR flip, we have top wicks, bottom wicks, top wick, that this is liquidity inflow. Love my aunt. All right, and you're banned. Goodbye. Moron. Twitter, the YouTube guy. I'm bringing the heat today. Yeah. And that's why we don't discuss politics, because people are ridiculous. Ridiculous. Did I use the 3Cs before the ban? Yeah, really. So right here is the target. You see them defending this 490, 492, 493 target. That's our first indication to get anything lower. If not, then, yeah. Was he okay? Right on top of it. Oh man, what a Friday. What a Friday. Uh, 147 million of calls being dropped. When YouTube worries, you know it's bad. Heck yeah, tell me about it. Heck yeah. what's up, Schleicher? Schleicher? Don't know how to say that. Apologize. Still dropping here. We need 493, 494 to transact so you can move your stop down. Once that happens, we're going to target 465. Just take it one step at a time. Don't try to bite off to more than you can chew. Just one step at a time. We have a 3C from 520. 493 is the trigger. Next up is 465 after that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Media is ruining society by lying to people and causing division. That's exactly right, man. Like they're making us hate each other instead of the real culprit, which is the government. There's too much hate in this country. We need more love. We need more love. There's 493. 493 after that's coming 465. There's the trigger. So now you move your stop down. If you're short, you move your stop down. Because once you take out liquidity that's at 493, you don't want to let it bounce back up. Because then it's going to reclaim liquidity and it's going to bounce on you and you're going to get stopped out. So lock in profit, roll your stop down, and then trigger 465. Once you get 465, you move it down again. Over and over. This one that you're playing hopscotch right here. Right here. Dun, 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 dun. Alrighty then. Alrighty. Don't stop me out, bro. Don't stop me out. Let me eat. Let me eat. Today is the anniversary of Black Thursday, October 24th, 1929. The New York Stock Exchange descended into chaos. Panic selling drove a record at the time, 12 million shares traded, and dropped 11% in one single day. It was fueled by speculative bubbles, over-leveraged margin, and weak banking oversight. You could apply that exact same sentence to today's market. It triggered the Great Depression and it destroyed the global currency market. Devastation led to the Securities Act of 1933, which restored the beautiful government trust through transparency. Interesting. We need to have history, like History Fridays or History Wednesdays. We spend 20 minutes discussing a historical government or a historical market event. Like audiobook style. Chapter 1. The stock market crash of 1929. 11% in a day is so wild to think. Yeah, it's crazy. Heck, we had a 12% bounce on NASDAQ, back in April? 11%? Can I get some of that transparency you spoke of? So, yeah. And I'm stopped. No bueno. Did I trade pre-market today? I did not trade pre-market today. I slept in a little bit today, man. It was weird. I woke up late. Then I had to get all the kids ready for school, make sure that they knew the vocabulary words for the day, and get them off to school. So I didn't do too much market news today. I was behind the ball today. I don't doubt that some of what you said must be true, but I also write what they explain their agendas, you know. Awesome teaching, my friend. Nice, Damien. Thank you. I learned something this AM. I was more patient and got the trade on this move. Good way to finish the week. Nice, Damien. I love it, buddy. Great job. I'll continue to pray for your wife. Hopefully we get more good news. Hey, Skids. Spelled gabagool. I'm more scared this keeps going and this keeps getting more expensive. Well, that's exactly my same fear too, J-Dog. Is that things are a little crazy. And I know what happens after things get crazy. You know, seasons of life, man. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes the sun's shining. But right now the sun's been shining for a very long time. And what comes next? All we can do is pray. That's it. The odds of 3 rate cuts in 2025 reach a new all-time high with Polymarket. I'm currently flat. I stopped out of my short trade. That's trade number 2 for me. And that probably will be it today. Although I'm not going to officially say that's going to be it for me today. I'm not going to say that. Because if we do get a crazy move this afternoon, I'd like to participate. But we'll see. We'll see. If I do trade this afternoon, it'll be on IBKR because I shut down my top step at, well, all props really at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Eastern. A lot of shine have been destroyed the past 5 years. That's very true. You're exactly right, Trippy Mike. You're exactly right. What do we have for gold here? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? High volume top wick. So gold's continuing put on the 3C moves, man. Very clean gold. Very clean gold. Look at this. Just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Every time I look at gold, it's just clean. Out of curiosity, how do prop firms make money when a trader is successful? They make money off of the 99% of traders who are not successful. Can you trade gold on TPT? Yes, you can. You cannot trade platinum, but you can trade gold. Do you know how many dudes, Leo, are sitting there, reset, max position size, blow up, reset, reset, max position size, blow up, reset, reset, max position size, blow up? You know what I mean? I mean, most traders, a lot of traders are doing that. You know how much money these big prop firms are making? Because, unfortunately, prop firms, the bad side of prop firms, which I'm going to talk about in the YouTube video I'm releasing, the bad part of prop firms is that it invokes the part of your brain that gambles. It takes the control mechanism of the trading and it brings in the gambling aspect of your emotions and combines it into this perfect storm where you can enter a highly leveraged position for about $50 a month or $100 a month, whatever it is, and either make a killing or lose the whole account and very little money lost, but then you do it again and again and again. And it brings in the slot machine mechanism where you say, all right, who cares? All I got to do is hit one trade and I could take a $5,000 payout, whatever. I've seen insane stuff. I know someone who's refunded their account probably 10 times. Dude, that's nothing. That's nothing. I've seen nauseating DMs from people. Nauseating. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, I've reset a couple of times, sure. But there are people 6 or 100,000, 6 figures in reset fees. And that's the people, that's like, when I tell you all that the reason why they allow you to trade 5, 10, 15 minis is because they know the average trader is going to try to gamble, put in 10 minis, and they're going to get destroyed every time. You may be able to catch one trade on it, but you're going to give it all back. That's why everything I teach you is derived not only from my personal lessons learned of my struggles with props, but the struggles I learned from DMs. And I tell you everything. Is that I'm not just telling you all this stuff to be cliche. I'm telling you all because you paid good money to be here. You deserve to know the truth. And I don't want to see any of you get destroyed. I want to see the contrary. I want to see every one of you all take $10,000 payouts a month. And I promise you, regulation is going to come to prop firms one way or another. So make hay while the sun's shining. The time is now to make money on prop firms because regulation is going to come to it. Right now it's the Wild West. You're in the golden age of prop firms. You're going to think back in 10 years. I remember when prop firms were easy. That was the Wild West. And just like government does everything, they're going to ruin prop firms too. When does the October trading competition officially end? I'm going to give it till... I'll probably give it to the end of November. I don't know, maybe a little earlier to kind of give people the chance to reset and do their thing. Then I'm going to lock it up and start a new one. I haven't done an official end date on it. I need to. When do we get to ruin the government? When people get tired enough to risk what they have. As long as people are scared to risk what they have, the government will never change. Nice, Damon. Have a good weekend, buddy. I didn't make enough the first couple of days on the prop I was on. I ended up blowing it trying to get a little heavier. I got a second one a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. The beautiful thing, let's say about TakeProfitTrader. If you could shut down your monkey ape brain and just trade, even if you wanted to go 5 accounts and copy trade, you do 5 accounts, let's say you want to do 5 accounts with daily payouts. If you could shut down your gambling brain for a couple of weeks and just take one contract at a time, inch your way up past the account, build the buffer, inching your way up, then all of a sudden you get the buffer. And then everything after that, you could take daily payouts on 5 accounts. So even if it's $100 per account, $100, 5 accounts every day, that's $500 for taking one single contract. One mini, that's 5 points. You tell me you can't make 5 points on NASDAQ? So yes, obviously that's best case scenario. And yes, obviously you're going to have red days and red trades, but Just take it slow is the main theme with prop firms. Take it slow. Take it slow. Build time into your trades. I need an indicator that slaps me in the head when I overtrade. Get a mirror, and I'm a little bit serious about this, David. Get yourself one of those makeup mirrors that like girls used to put on makeup, or guys now, I guess nowadays, and put it in front of your face while you're trading. Put it right in front of your keyboard, so you look yourself in the eye. It sounds silly, but it's a little accountability. Add a piece of clown costume. You break the mirror day one. Hello. Yeah, exactly. That's me. I love it. These prop firms you keep talking about, I'm starting to get interested and never gave them a try. Well, Ruskaya, I would not do it unless you have a system. If you want to risk a little bit of money and you've got a system and you can be consistent, then do it. It's great. It's a great thing. If you have your own capital, take it or leave it. Is that a 3C bounce on NASDAQ? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Great info about prop firms. Hey, you're welcome, Kraken. Oh, thank you. I challenge every trader to trade one lot of MNQ for 6 months. You'll be surprised how much you can make with one single MNQ for 6 months. I completely agree with what Chuki Trades just said. 100% agree. I got you, Soda Sopa. I got you. First of all, congratulations. Being a father to a baby girl is best thing ever, man. You know, the having a boy and having a girl are completely different feelings. They're complete different experiences. Luckily, I'm blessed to be able to experience both. But man, that bond you have with your daughter is insane. It's insane. The things I would do for that little girl is crazy. But read that book. That book was life-changing for me. I've passed that book around to many of my buddies, and they all say the same thing. It's one of the best books they've ever read. So it'll knock you on your butt. Read it. I'd be more disciplined just having the camera on me. Yeah, that's what's going to happen to me when I finally start streaming this stuff. How much do you think can be made per week with MNQ? Honestly, dude, it's not about the money. I don't know how much you can make with MNQ. I mean, you can make probably, I don't know, upwards to $1,000 if you're a good trader in a week, but that's obviously a high value amount. But it's the knowledge gained from that, because the problem is some of you are not allowing yourself to learn or truly see what you can do because you have so much emotion and negativity wrapped up in your system because you're over positioning. You think you're positioning yourselves appropriately, but you're still over positioning. You can't allow your trades to breathe. You're stopping out too quickly. You're putting your stops into break even too fast. You're doing all the stuff that's indicative of over positioning. So instead of worrying about the money, I have to implore you all to pull the position sizing way back. Dedicate yourself for 1 week. You don't care about the money. You don't care about big payouts. You don't care about anything. I mean, if it hasn't been working up until this point anyway, what do you have to lose? Do you think, are you still riding on the fallacy that just 1 week you're just going to happen to make it? It's just going to happen to be good? How about we do things properly? How about we pull the position sizing way back, 1 micro, and you test your strategies. You plot them, you log them in the trade log, and you figure out exactly what you're doing right and exactly what you're doing wrong, and see how it goes. because the knowledge you're going to learn from trading that one micro is going to be way more valuable than any money you may or may not achieve by over positioning. I love it. You're in the long? Nice. I use that 3C bounce to get me out of a short. So after all the commissions and everything, I'm only green $36 this week. I don't even know if that counts. It does count. Beautiful high volume right here. Well, not a volume, but red candle. You're welcome, Hal. I appreciate you. And I'm here to help you too, man. Accountability is a massive thing. And I want this server to be an accountability. So use me if you don't want to post in the channel, or find someone else to just talk with. Hey, you know, I'm struggling. I'm supposed to trade one MNQ, but I really want to trade 15 minis. Help me out. Use the resource, man. Use the resource. That's why I keep the crap out of the community, so we can actually be a resource. Trading is no joke. And nothing aggravates me more when people treat this as a immature joke, because I have literally cried and bled for this profession. And I'm not a crier. I've cried like 3 times in my life, one of which was when my mom died. And the other of which when Yankees were swept 4-0 to the Red Sox back in 2004 after they were up 3 games. I'm just kidding, I didn't cry during that. I wanted to, though. Hardest thing for me is the trailing stop getting out too early. Yep. The community has only gotten better and better over time. You've done a great job reeling us in when you need to and balancing out. Well, thanks, Kyle. I appreciate that. That's what I'm always trying to do. That's what I'm always trying to do. Thank you. I've been doing great, but then I had a big loss from slippage and started going with more contracts. Then I blew it. Yep. I do it too, man. You know, I do it too. Trust me. I get on a heater, and you know, I think to myself, hey, I'm on a heater. I've got a 90% win rate. I could turn it up a little bit, and then you know, I mean, just go. Yeah, every time I turn up the risk, I get my PP whacked. It just happens. I remember when it was $10 a month in here. It's gotten so much better since. Yeah, I remember when it was free. I remember when it was free. That was awful. I cried when Old Yeller died. Now, my name is Jeff. I overposition and overstay. And overstay, yeah. I've been working with one micro for a few weeks now. I think I'm ready to move up to 2. And I'm thankful to have a large individual account, but I know to refine my strategy. Yeah. Absolutely, Zach. It's awesome, buddy. I remember when it was free. What's up, Spelunking? Welcome back, by the way. You loved it? I hated it. It was awful. It was awful. I hated almost every second of running that Discord when it was free. Man, where's Kennedy at? Oh, he's at the hospital. But yeah, this trend line, dude. Look at this trend line. This market is just hating this trend line. Like YouTube, you have to ban every. I was banning like 50 people a day. Like literally, it was just right-click ban, right-click ban, right-click ban. And then it was too drama-filled, and then a bunch of nonsense. Like, what is this? Like, what am I even doing here? It's so easy to get big-headed after first consistent week, then God humbles you and have to contemplating if this is for you. Trading is one of the few things that for literally weeks on end, months on end, you could be on cloud 9, just an absolute sniper, killing it, can't miss. You come into the market knowing you're going to make a ton of money, and then all of a sudden, in one trade, for 4 weeks straight after that, you couldn't put on a green trade if someone put a gun to your head. Or if you're in Europe, if someone put a hatchet to your face. That's trading, and the only way to weather the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs of that, is through consistent small position sizing. Because if you over position size, it's fantastic when you're hitting it, but it's destructive in every way possible when you switch to the loss. So the only way to get through all of those ups and downs is through small, consistent position sizing. Reddit, YouTube, Discord. I forgot about Cody. Yeah. Gather around if you want to hear the history of OM history. Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. What's next? My name is Jeff. Coming back over. Just forgot about Cody. It's cold. Yeah, I remember him. Whitler? Cody Whitler? Yeah, I wonder what he's doing. I had 30 green days in March and April and gave the whole profit in one day over position. Yep. I feel you, bro. Anyway, I'm not taking a trade right now. I've already taken 2 trades today. I'm just setting up for the afternoon here. This is pretty decent movement. I mean, it's slower, but I mean, heck, we're still putting on 40, 50 point moves here. This ain't bad. So there's a little opportunity for everybody here. Take your pick. Still dropping back over. I don't want slow, I want fast. Well, it's coming down. It's coming down. On down, baby. $25,478 dropping. I had to go back 5 seconds to check to see if you really said that. Said what? Oh, that, yeah. No. I know what you're saying. Still coming off 25,483, looking for 470. Currently not in a trade. Dropping back over. I used to have positions so big I couldn't even sit down when trades were live. It was the worst gut feeling ever. Yep, that's terrible, man. This looks a little different. This is a change of character here. This is the first time we've had waterfall style price action today without wicking. So this is the extension I'm talking about. This is when you can't get extension. This is when things are finally starting to extend and have a waterfall effect. It's nice. Dropping back over. There we go. A little bit of change of character. Things are different. This is different. We have aggressive put buying, call selling. 1.1 billion in puts, 378 million of calls sold. Coming in. Is gold going boing soon? Maybe. 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 $4,767. Still dropping. So if we close under the pivot here of about 470 or so, we're going to look for a lower price. Just one target at a time. Right now, the 3 Cs are still favoring downside positioning. Next target will be 429, or whatever this low is. What is that? Yeah, 429 on dropping. ES is down. Hasn't taken out this pivot yet at 68.18, but it's heading lower. Gold here is, where's that? Let me get the volume to load. Volume has a little bit of a high volume inflow there at 41.27. But NASDAQ is leading the way here. What y'all think? Still dropping, 459, 460. $455. Look at that. Undoing it all already. That's the extension. 1.5 billion in puts, 533 million calls sold. So this is heavy, heavy, heavy stuff. You see the difference in change of character? How different price action looks when it goes down? Seems similar to other days when we get a morning drop and then they blast it. Yeah, yeah, yep. So one thing I'm looking at here, I'm sure y'all already see it. We got the volume spike. They did wipe a lot of liquidity off the book there, which was interesting. White House advisor, inflation numbers were fantastic. Are we going to get a China deal by November 1st? We will see. There's been some thawing in the stance against China in the last few days. Yeah, no kidding. So there's that high volume bounce. Volume came in to bottom wick, right back up to 460. When I'm looking for selling or continuation, my eyes are glued down here. If I see volume come in, then you have to be very, very patient, because that stuff happens. Instant right there. Instant 30, 40 point bounce off of the NASDAQ low. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. 3 Cs, baby. 3 Cs. Look at this. Volume is pinpointing the pivots. That is the essence of my system right there. Tell me that ain't accurate. That is the essence of the VPA. It's going to bust down. If this fails, then yes. So we have a little temporary bounce here. If they fail this and retake 432, then yes, it'll bust down below 430, and then probably it'll fill the CPI low. So this is a very important little bounce for bulls. If they fail it, then we're going to CPI low. My guess is this big move will get undone. Just a guess. Got a target of 6,800. Nice Tennessee Vol fan. We'll see. How'd you feel against Alabama last week? Oof. Don't want to talk about it. Yeah. If we follow 3C, we need higher high, right? That's just a past candle, so it wouldn't hurt to be too late. Well, it really. Let's think about it from both sides. Let's say, all right, you're already short, and you see that kind of volume. If I see that kind of volume on a short position, that I need to heavily consider tuning up my stops tight or just closing out the position altogether. So that to me is a massive red flag if I see volume. If I am not in a position and I looking to go long, then I need to figure out when do I get in based on that volume right there. Now, if you're trading off the 1 minute, which I don't really recommend, then to me you need to get over anywhere from 458 and then 472, which we don't have yet. On the 5 minute, you need to get over this candle right here of 473 would be your indication to go long on the 5 minute. Now that's a very large candle on the 5 minute. We're talking 40, 50 points on NASDAQ. That's a big candle. But that's all we have to work with here. Either way, you can also use the same targets to get out of a short if you're in a short, or if you just want to get out on volume, I don't fault you for that either. Either way is that just think about what's going on here based on the structure. And that's what the 3 C's help you do, is they help you think about what the market is trying to do. It's not going to help you guess. It's going to say, all right, well, we have a tremendous amount of volume coming in, which is obviously support. But now the next question is how much of a support is that actually going to provide? So right here. Are you okay with me posting dollar amounts and trade counts? It goes along with the morning conversation. Rare exceptions, I'll make exceptions for educational purposes on dollar amounts. It's just a fine line between bragging and providing content. You know, that's the reason why I do it. It's because bragging. I don't care about bragging, but yeah. DM me and if I'll take a look and I'll approve it. Well, if it's something I think is educational. SPY's just ranging in the opening range, sitting on hands. Yep, they took off that liquidity up on ES. For NASDAQ here, we have 25.50 down to 25.4. I like having inverted VIX overlay on top of my SPRs. Nice. There you go. Yeah, I've seen that setup before. It's actually pretty interesting. I guess I shouldn't have mentioned the $36 I made this week. Sorry if you guys thought I was bragging. Now I'm off to Taco Bell. I don't know how much you can get for Taco Bell these days for $36. What you got, Trippy Mike? Give me another 5,600% win. Path? UI path. UI path. Let's see. 1646. What do they do? Tremendous amount of volume since September 30th, so that would hit volume alerts. Earnings coming up on December 5th. They've been stuck down since 22. They've taken out prior pivot, and they're holding support resistance flip. I would say this is a bullish setup. They're doing the SR flip here. As long as they hold over that line with that kind of volume, as long as you don't get a sweeping high volume top wick, I mean, it looks bullish. Granted, I know nothing about this company, but we have outlier volume. We have more participation. They're holding above pivot. Looks pretty good. Might be good for a decent move. AI stuff, there you go. Is that going to be a name that I'm going to kick myself for not buying? Probably. Probably, yeah. So with this setup, should I be on the 2 minute? I look for volume on the 1 and I confirm price action on the 5. You could apply this to any time frame that you desire, but I'm always looking for as long of a time frame that I can confirm on. The reason why, if I'm doing this style of trading, you can't go too much beyond the 5 if you're looking for a quick entry, because They're going to give back a lot of profit on the 15-minute. If I'm looking for a big bounce on a higher level, then yeah, the 15-minute will work great. If I'm looking for swing trades, 15, 30, 60 will look great, all that kind of stuff. It all depends on the style of trade you're looking for. If you want a quick 5-point in and out, the 1 minute, 2 minute will be fine. If you're looking for, 50, 60 to 100 points, 5 to 15 minute. If you're looking for multiple 100 points, anything over 15 minutes is going to be the best. When would be your entry in this recent bounce? Well, again, we went over that in the 5. So right now, there's not a 3C, third C. You have volume, you have bottom wick, but the third C hasn't triggered yet. So I would need at least 474, if not 480. So it's just the whole theme here is at a higher high. They have not put in a higher high yet. You need to take that level. So the 5C hasn't, the third C of this bounce hasn't triggered. I feel like when I watch the 5, I miss a lot of entries you take. Well, I'm watching both. The volume is gonna really make me refine an entry. That's why I have the volume up on the 1 minute and I have the price action up on the 5 simultaneously, and I watch both. Not to mention, I'm looking for the character of the market. What's the market typically wanting to do? Is it want them to bottom wick? Is it want them to top wick? Is it up or down? And I build that into my thesis. And that's why I can't really tell you all like what you want to trade, because you're going to see things maybe slightly different than me, a little bit less comfortable. Maybe you don't like buying the dip or selling the rip or whatever I'm doing. So, I'll try to tell you all exactly how I'm feeling, but if you're not feeling if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, then you're not going to get a great entry because you're not going to be comfortable with it. Up 10 points, down 10 points, now 2 ticks. Might have to be done. Hey, that's okay. When you have that feeling, E-dub, that's usually the right decision, because then you have that feeling, you continue to trade, you get wrecked, and now you're like, man, I should have just listened to my gut and stopped trading. So why don't you just shut it down and go enjoy your weekend. To my gut. Nice, E-dub. I just recently added the iPad to the desk setup for the 5 minute. I actually love looking at charts on the TOS app. Nice, Zach. If you're good at adapting to change in the market structure, buying early on the 1C is okay, but if you're bad at cutting losses, it's better be patient. There you go. The times that I'll consider trading on the 1 minute, we better be at a dang good position, or a very peculiar setup that is high confidence. If I see it, then I'll use the 1 minute to get in as early as I can, because there are times to turn up the risk, to turn up the confidence. But most of the time, I am using the 5 minute to confirm, especially doing this style of trading. Look, there's your higher high. I don't know how people can say that volume doesn't work to identify entries. I mean, it's extraordinary. So, I used to get frustrated when you would mention you were in a trade and I totally missed, but I had to understand I simply don't have your market awareness. Well, I'm going to see different things. You could take 5 very successful traders, put them in a room, and they're all going to see 5 different things. They may see the end result may be the same of what they see, but they're going to see things different ways, different strategies, different formats, different ideas, different risk tolerances. So I try to do my best to explain my setups and explain my thoughts, and I sometimes miss the mark. considering in a PCS here. So far, looks good. Looks good. Would I counter trend buying some Q puts 2 to 3 weeks out? Curious about your opinion. I have no idea. I have no idea. So the one thing I would tell you is buy yourself some time. I think 2 to 3 weeks will be a little tight. I would go further out. I would go at least 6 weeks, double that, just to buy yourself some time. Because I can't say that we're, next week we're not going to get wrecked and drop 500 points or whatever. But this market continues to exceed everyone's expectations, including mine. I mean, I've been incredibly bullish now for 5 months straight. What is it? Yeah, this will be I haven't been bullish up until this point, but and then of course I switched my thesis into distribution 2-3 weeks ago, and obviously it's still gone higher. So I don't know. I don't know when a significant retracement will actually happen. So I don't know. All I can say is advise into some long dated positions if you're going to take that kind of position, and be prepared to just to deal with the back and forth in the price action. I'm 44 for my daily goal. Should I lock out? The market doesn't care about your goal, Frumple. Market only cares about liquidity. So that's up to you. Never make a trading decision because you need to hit your daily goal. Make a trading decision because the setup is either there or not there. Yeah, I'll allow that, Dave, for educational purposes. I think that's a very consistent, reasonable account, and the intent is to show consistency, so I'll allow it. Thank you for asking before posting. I was $2 away from my goal yesterday. I gave it almost back before exceeding my goal. I'd rather have been $2 from it. Yep. Did I tell you the story about dice? Have I told you about that? My dice game back in high school? I don't recall. Yeah. So back in high school, we would have card night, and we had a night where we went and bought 40-ounce beers, like the big glass 40-ounce beers, because we were trying to be ghetto, and we played dice, like legitimately. We looked up the rules. We got some dice. We played dice, and we brought money and played dice for money. And me against one other guy, and it was like $78. That's what comes to mind. I took every bit of his money, every bit of it, every dollar he had except for $1, and I wanted that last dollar, so I kept on playing dice. And he ended up back taking not only every dollar of his back, but he took all my money just because I needed that one more dollar. And $78 in high school is a lot of money, especially back in the early 2000s. So don't go for that extra $44, Frumple. Lock it up. Lock it up. Do I play dominoes? I used to play with my grandma. My grandma used to play dominoes. Nice rowing. Yeah, beautiful high volume bounce right there. Fantastic. Love it. wild tweet came out of nowhere and smoked him out. That's right. Really ramping up call buying. Yep. So the call just went from 450 million of sold calls to 700 million of purchased calls. That is a quick math, 1.1 billion in call difference. Meanwhile, they sold off all their puts. So I mean, that's an incredibly bullish move there. Have a high volume 3C bounce, beautiful top bottom wick, higher highs, actionable on all accounts, and call buying and supporting. So there you go. Fantastic. Fantastic. We're about 14 minutes away from locking up the day, so any questions you have, let me know. If you want to have a history lesson on what fascism actually is, we could talk about that too, although I'd prefer not to. Climbing back to all the 40s now. That's right, AR. It's a lot of calls being bought at the top. Zero DTEs, man. Zero DTEs are a silly game. The dealers can play a la carte. Why take on risk of a 30-day call when you can play zero DT calls right now? You can hedge dynamically as needed. It's crazy stuff. Do I prefer the 5-minute or 15-minute for 3Cs? I like them both. It's different applications. Applying the 5 and 15 are different applications. It all depends on what you want to do. Would you say that the military life was basically a socialist lifestyle? What? Oh my gosh. My drill instructor told me that military life was a dictatorship. There's no such thing as democracy. 1 second chart, yeah. Look at all that liquidity. 1,000 lots sitting at 25,537. Look at that. Crazy amount of liquidity. Still going. Who took the 3C long? It's funny because the biggest draw of the military is free housing, healthcare, and education. Almost like they know what people need and prey off of it. Well, what's the flow indicator on here? What's the... Oh, okay. Yeah, let's look. There you go. Right there. 710 million calls, 789 million of puts purchased. Backstory, I blew 2 evals previously, both within 2 weeks. I told myself I will not go above 2 micros. I struggle with moving stops too soon, so the days where the trade count is up, I tend to broke even because I allow myself to get in. Never hit my DLL. Please don't take this as bragging. I need to prove to myself just when I can keep them alive for 30 days. Working quite well. I can't be able to take this as payouts. Hang in there. Learn from everyone here. The longest streak is super account. Paper account. Nice. That's fantastic, Dave. Absolutely extraordinary. That's what I want everyone to strive for. In a world where everyone is getting destroyed left and right, that is what you need to shoot for. A couple $100 a day here and there, $50, $100, $200. That's what you're looking for. Honestly, I was about to give up. There you go. Fantastic, fantastic application of consistency. 25,520 still going. I struggle to find one good trade a day. Crazy seeing that successful trades. Yeah, but what's your position like, Zach? I guarantee you, if you pulled your position sizing back, all of a sudden things will become quite clear. One of the best things I've done since June, because y'all know I struggled into June, one of the best things I've done, especially with TPT, is I literally went for a couple $100 a day. Like with the daily payouts, if I could take a couple $100 a day, if that, that's all I need, man. Like forget about the problem that I've always had with Top Step and everything else is that because you have to have 5 days of consistency, you forget about the fact that you're making a couple of $1,000s here and there. Whereas if TPT, like it's literally daily payouts. That's why I'm such a big believer in it. You could take daily payouts, a couple $100 here and there, and just funnel it right into your brokerage account. And then you forget about your brokerage account, and then here we are, you know, in however many months, and all of a sudden you've got all this money in there. But it's the trick is what Dave just posted, is that think small. Think small. It's fantastic. Position size down, think small. It's the best thing you can do for yourself. I'm getting a ton of success stories lately because some of y'all are finally starting to pick up on that. With the 3 C's, fewer trades a day, smaller position sizing, more consistency. That's all you need. It's fantastic. I used to try to kill it on one trade. Yep. I just did the cleanest of the 3 C's trades today. Nice. Nice DT3. I like it. This thing is flying, baby. We're about to blast right through this little liquidity at 539. That's 9 points higher, and it's 1,000 lot. We have an insane amount of 0 DT call buying. 130 followed by the second highest volume candle of the day with a beautiful 3C long opportunity. If they take out this trend line that they've been rejecting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this will be the 7th attempt at this 540 trend line all day. If they take it out, I mean, y'all could probably expect a whammy of a candle. Whammy of a candle. It's extraordinary. By smaller positions. Smaller positions it's relative. Smaller positions is going to be different. Small is different for different people. What I consider a small position size in my IBKR would be different for someone else. So it's just keep things manageable. And my opinion is, I would, if you're learning, if you're struggling, you know, if you're a profitable trader, then you know you probably already know what you're doing anyway. But if you're struggling to find consistency, I would bring your position sizing down as low as you possibly can. 1 micro contract, 1 SPY contract, just as small as you can possibly get it, and then build consistency through the process of application. It's process over profits. Trading is not all that difficult. We make it difficult as humans because we want too much. We're greedy. We're inherently evil. We want all the bad things. Fear, greed, emotions. You want what you can't have. So just stop. Get some help. Pull the position sizing way back and learn how to trade. Tortoise and the Hare is the best trading book out there. Blastaroni. High volume spike. We just ate that 540 liquidity. I'm a little older, so I'm not really in a rush. I'm fine with small. There you go. Your channel's been amazing for me. Nice, Forrest. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for the comment. Thank you. Hopefully we continue the success. Which book? Tortoise and the Hare. I took a payout on Top Step this morning. I wasn't going to trade today, but that 3C long looks so clean. Made back 50% of my payout on a single trade with a tough stop set. Nice, Twizzy. Twizzy's killing it. Killing it. Stop it. Get some help. That's right. Right now on TPT, I'm averaging a payout every other day, and anywhere between $400 to $500. Sometimes a touch more. I usually don't take it out unless I've got a $300 profit, but I'm doing that across a couple of different accounts, and it's fantastic. That's literally all I'm doing it. With Top Step, I play a little bit bigger. I've had some really good days the past 2 months, but yeah, that's all I'm doing. Every single morning, my habit is, I log in the top or on TPT, I request my first payout, and then it's usually approved that day, every single morning. Because it takes, with rhythmic data, it takes through midnight to clear the funds, to clear your trades for the day, so I have to wait till the morning to request it. But it's just slow and steady, baby. Still going here. We have a high volume spike, but there's no top wick yet. Oh, there's very, very minor top wick. Nothing crazy yet. And that's going to bring us into the European close and also the stream close. But that 3C bottom wick was chef's kiss. Anybody know what the SPX call wall is today? I'll tell you. 6,800, 6,805 is the main call wall today. That one dude you bet needed to get some help. He does, absolutely. I pray he finds some peace. I think the biggest hurdle in trading is thinking that you're not trading, is that if you're not trading, you're not making money. Yep. 100% agree, man. What's wild is if I find success on different firms, I'm pretty good at Top Step at TPT. I've gotten to fund it only manage one payout. I can't keep them open. Why do you think that is? Green Friday is a great Friday. I'm out. Have a great weekend. Nice soda sopa. You too. Looks like we're already there for the SPX call wall. We are. Yeah. Emotions in my headspace. Well, there is that emotional part where you're used to what you're used to. We're managing different interfaces. Top Step X is a very clean, very manageable brokerage to trade in. I actually myself, I have that same issue, is that I can't put together the same success. If I've put together the same success on TPT that I have on Top Step the past 3 months, I would have made a tremendous amount of money out of 5 accounts daily payouts. But I just can't do it, and I learned that lesson. So what do? I don't fight it. I just, all right, instead of trying to get the massive wins on TPT, I just manage small trades, and I just manage a couple $100 here and there. That's it. And I think it has to do with the fact that the daily payouts play with my mind, because I'm thinking, hey, if I keep doing the mental gymnastics, well, I can make gigantic proceeds and take gigantic payouts every day and make all this money, and that affects my trading. So instead, I don't fight it. It's all right. Well, I'd rather have $300 a day than blowing up another account. All right, 30 seconds, London closes. So far, 3C long up here. It's fantastic. What's VIX doing here? VIX is still holding 1647. All right, there you go. I'm going to wrap it up and start. I lost my groove that I had over the summer. Poor entries and stop loss. When did the pressure start, Magabaguli? When did it start? Mid-September. Well, I'll tell you, this price action was mid-September, came back here. I don't know if it had to do anything to do with that drawdown or not, but this price action is meant for shakeout. That's what it meant to do. Either shake out for this or shake out for this, one of the two. So, I would if you struggled here, my win rate has gone way down in this. I wouldn't sweat it. I wouldn't sweat it. The market is meant to do that, but you have to do your due diligence. Either take a break or pull position sizing way back, and just that's the market. Accept the market is going to go back and forth on you. You're never going to kill it for 5 weeks straight, despite what the crazies and the fascists on Twitter tell you, that you're going to have a losing trade. You're going to have a losing week. You're going to have a losing month. It happens. So pull it back, relax, understand what's happening here, and let's get to work and figure out what you need to do to go forward. But the first thing you need to do is don't make it worse. Pull the position sizing way back, do all that fun stuff, and let's see what we can fix. I've got a 0 DTE SPX call credit spread, 68.20, 68.30. It's down bad. Do I foresee a pullback? I don't know. And coming from someone who has lost 6 figures on a call credit spread, I have to recommend caution with that position because it can get out of hand very quickly from here. So I don't know. I don't know when you took it. I don't know what your deltas are. I don't know, how down you are. I don't know what your ability to hedge is. You definitely don't need to do nothing. You either need to close or you need to hedge or you need to manage. So don't do nothing. Don't cross your fingers and hope that we drop from here. Take it from me. So you either need to be longing futures against that position, longing calls against that position, or closing out. I finished a week of all green. Much appreciated for the info you throw during a stream. Nice, Jonathan. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for being here. Come join us again Monday, because Monday next week, y'all, is going to be crazy. We have all the big dogs are reporting next week. We're starting to report. We have FOMC. So it's going to be a crazy week. You're a phony. Man, look at this rally since Wednesday. Look at those 4-hour candles. It's crazy. I got you. Holy smokes, Mr. Sampson. Judging by that, if my math serves me right, I would close that immediately if I were you. I think your biggest problem there, Mr. Sampson, was you had no business touching SPX with that account size. No business. Little tough love there for you. Yo, big red. 3 C's win again, baby. Over and over and over again. Look at that. Over and over and over again. Look at that. It's insane, dude. Look at this. This is just silly at this point. Just silly. Three C Mafia, baby. I was doing the same quite nicely on TPT. Finally got to a point where I'd accumulated for 3 nice little payouts until last night I got loose with gold. I broke 2 rules. I don't trade more than 3 micros on gold, and I don't trade after hours at all. I blew my entire buffer in a couple of minutes, panic reversing over and over. Even had a stern voice in my head say, stop what you're doing right now, close immediately, so starting at the bottom of the buffer. That's okay, Odious. So, man, look at that. High volume 3C bounce. Well, you know what you did wrong, so that's good. But I appreciate you sharing with us because we all been there, done that. That story right there is pretty much why I don't trade overnight hours, because it wasn't worth it to me. You know what's more important to me than profits in overnight? Why my family is wondering why I'm sweating at 8:30 p.m. when they're watching a movie on the couch or we're outside throwing the ball in the summertime. And I'm sitting here white knuckling my mouse because I'm an idiot and I decided to take a trade at 8:45 p.m. I'm watching Cops, yeah. So find your motivation not to trade. So that's all I can say. It's like I strictly, unless I see a very good reason to trade overnight, I don't. And I don't mean, oh, there's a nice setup, let me take it. I mean, like, there better be a dang good reason. Like Russia going to war in 2022 at 10 o'clock at night when they announced it at 10 o'clock at night in 2022. Or something crazy along those lines. I am not taking a trade overnight. Just not worth it. Because then what happens? You go to bed and you're stressed out, you can't sleep, you're hating yourself, you're self-deprecating. You're punching holes in the wall, and now you have to go to Lowe's to get drywall mud. Like, that's no fun. Hopefully you missed the stud. Exactly, Frupple. That's the funnest thing you've ever said. I love it. I love it. Didn't you get vomit on your sweater already, Mom Spaghetti? It's no bueno. Yeah, you have to account for your mental health. I've been there, done it. I am a jabroni. I have made an ungodly amount of money trading, and I have lost an ungodly amount of money trading. I've been through the whole ringer of emotions. And you know what I like best? You know what I like best? I like level. I like consistent. I like boring. I'm too old for getting adrenaline spikes at 11:45 p.m. I like boring. I like sitting in a nice comfortable couch, watching Price is Right at 3 p.m. and having supper at 5:45. I'm just kidding. I don't watch Price is Right. And I hate sitting in a couch. And I don't call it supper. Price is Right. All right, I'm going to call it a day. That's it for me. Someone mentioned it before about people wrong thinking about trading. You're not making. Of course you're not losing. There you go. There's always a cost to something, and it's not just monetarily. Always, especially if you're someone who has faith like myself, you have to bring in the greed side of things. At what point are you doing your job of being a trader? Because if you're a trader, then your job is to trade when you are actively trading and to take high quality setups based on your parameters. But anything more than that, then it's greed. Anything more than a trade setup is greed. And if you're a person of faith, you have to come to terms with that. At what point is it greed, and at what point is it your job? Consider that. You too, Kyle. A little success is the most dangerous thing for me, at least. Caught a beautiful 3C bounce using good position sizing. Put me up. I had a room to sling, I thought, and then wham. Yep. Anytime that I have a good win, you always have to ask yourself the question of just locking things up. It's the beautiful thing about the market, man. Lock it up. All right, y'all, I'm calling it a day. It is the 24th. We had a fantastic, fantastic week. The macro levels work pretty decent for NASDAQ this week, all things considered. I'm happy with them. The beautiful rejection off the macro level R3 for NASDAQ back down Overall, though, I mean, obviously a very bullish week. Bottom wicked and went higher on everything. I have no idea what next week holds. Who knows when this train's going to stop, if we're just going to keep on blasting. It's been incredibly bullish since the big red candle on Wednesday morning. We have FOMC next week. We have earnings next week. We have a whole bunch of other nonsense. We have the last week of October, which will put us into Trump's time frame for the tariffs of China to see if he's actually going to do 155% tariff on China by November 1st. We have time changes, so you're going to fall back an hour. It's going to get dark an hour earlier at the end of next week. So it's going to be crazy. Can't wait for the afternoon stream, you promise? Yeah. If I see something crazy, we'll do it. We'll do it, Chris. Probably not today, though. So if you have any questions or anything, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see y'all bright and early next week for a fantastic day, and Sunday night for our weekly brief for Tier 2 members. Other than that, I'm out. See ya!